This is the question in front of us now. How do we create a contagious culture? And I'm telling you, from where I work, we might as well ask, how do we live an inspired life? I think on many levels, the cultural realities is as simple and as complex as how we want to live our lives, the kind of experiences we want. So, first guiding principle, and we have an expert in the room on this. You want to remember when you build a company that everything about it is first and foremost culturally framed. So we could be having this conversation in Europe, yeah? And it may be different. And so those of you who are working globally, those of you who are working with multicultural workforces, we always want to remember that what health looks like always comes from the filters and the frames of the people who build our work community. And I want to start with that because I think as we become more diverse as a nation and in our global work, oftentimes we fall short of understanding that it is good practice to understand the cultures in which we are working. Pay attention to what we're paying attention to. When I work with frontline leaders, I ask them to do two things. When you go to work, two hands. What do I need to do today and who do I need to be today? Guess which one gets the most attention? What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? Which one gets the most attention? That's right. Until we decide that who I need to be in this company is as valuable as what I need to do, we're never going to get culture right. I'm convinced of it. But somebody has got to wake up and start paying attention. And you see my final statement. I think it's the senior leadership of every organization that has to care the most about this. If you've worked with me before, you know I have a tendency to want to check people's awareness, so I'm going to put you through a quiz that some of you have been put through before. We're going to say a word together, and the word is shop, S-H-O-P. Please say that once out loud. Shop. Say it again, please. A little bit more rigor. Shop. There we go. We're going to say it 6 times together. It'll make me proud on the volume. And then I'm going to ask you a question. You all know the answer to the question, so pop out the answer. But first we're going to say shop 6 times. All right, deep breath. Here we go. Shop, 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 shop. At a green light, you. Stop. Let's try that again. At a green light, you. Go. You see, this is what's happening in our organizations. We come in and we start doing that which we do over and over and over, and after a while we stop seeing what we've created. Because our brain and our attention is so on the to-do list that we are failing to understand that we are not going to be successful if people's realities aren't setting them up to succeed. This takes incredible discipline and it takes incredible leadership. We can do this if we see it as a business benefit and advantage. An unhealthy culture will shred and mangle your process improvement initiatives. I have seen this over and over and over again. Those of you who care about process improvement and are dedicated to it, put those right through an unhealthy culture. It will go through a shredder. You will never get the results in a sustainable way you want. So, now here comes a laundry list. And in no particular order until the last piece. You'll know you have created a high-performance culture when you're getting results. And you will see this in the way people behave. People hold themselves and others to high expectations. There is personal and collective accountability. I have to pause on this one. I think the term accountability is misunderstood and misused in most organizations. Oftentimes we are messing up the term being responsible for with being accountable for. Here's the difference. I am responsible for getting my work done. I am responsible for following through. I am responsible for the task. Accountability flies much higher than that. When something happens, I ask myself, what more could I have done? What did I miss? Where am I contributing to the overall success? It has to be personal, and it has been collective. And when working with Definity folks, I recognize oftentimes they use the word ownership. You know you have an accountable culture when everybody in the place feels like they own the place. This is my place. Versus, what can the company do for me? And I'd ask you to think about the people you work with right now. Do you think they come to work with that sense of organizational ownership? This is my place. If something happens, I care about that. It flies much higher than just being responsible. All right, people interact from a foundation of trust. This is the bedrock right here. And I'm going to ask you, do you think the people you're working with trust each other? You're going to hear and read much more about something called vulnerability-based trust. This goes beyond, I trust you if. I trust you if you follow through. I trust you if you tell the truth. I trust you if. Vulnerability-based trust means I have a willingness to tell you I made a mistake. I was wrong about that. I'm sorry I was insensitive. This comes from leadership. It models the way. People share the vision. They know their work has purpose. I would want to go into any of your organizations, stop any employee and ask them, what is your purpose here? Do you know what most will tell me will be their job description, right? I'm talking about something different. Purpose is why I matter. Years ago, I went to an organization down in Bean Station, Tennessee. Have you been to Bean Station, Tennessee? You must go. It was July. It was extremely hot. I found my way to Bean Station, Tennessee, and I found this huge prefab building. It was metal, and when I walked in there, it was hot, and it was loud. And what I saw were rows of sewing machines with people at sewing stations. There was lint in the air, the lights were bright, and it was hot. And these people were sewing. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I mean, after about 10 minutes, kill me now. And as I walked around, the supervisor who was touring me said, we're really busy right now. They work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week at these sewing stations. And I was actually thinking to myself, how do you get anybody to do that? And then as I looked closer, something amazing happened. At each sewing station, there was a framed photograph of an American military personnel member. And each of those soldiers was wearing a protective vest that showcased the product being sewn at the sewing station, the cover for the vest. And so what these supervisors, local folks from Bean Station, Tennessee, understood is, if you're gonna work 60 hours in this heat and noise, we gotta tell you that your work has purpose and meaning. And then the shift changed, and this was so amazing. The supervisor stood at the door, and the exiting shift, here's what the supervisor said. Thank you for a good day. Thank you for working on purpose. And the new shift members came in, and they said to each one, we're glad you're here. What's our purpose today? And every single employee said the same thing. Our purpose is to help save lives. Now, how come they got that? But I want to know, do your folks know that their work matters for anything? Do they know why your work is contributing to where we're going? And whose job is that to communicate that over and over and over and over ad nauseum? Whose job is that? Thank you. It's the leadership. People who lead others, supervise others, have got to be able to help people see this isn't just a job. What you do matters.